Hey, welcome everybody. Welcome back to Get Your Money Right podcast brought to you by Forward Motion.
I'm Sarah, one of the board members of Forward Motion.
Hey, Sarah. I'm Amanda. I am the CEO of Forward Motion, and this podcast is focused on getting your money right. And we deliver content that circles around everything around finance and not finance that has to do with your money. So we talk about financial literacy, we talk about career development, we talk about mindset and everything in between. Now, I think Sarah has something that she wants to ask us before we get going.
Yeah, okay. So more so just we're going to talk about some random facts this morning. It'll tie into a little bit of today, but just because Drea used to do this for us and she doesn't do it anymore. So
She did kind of give up on the random facts thing.
Yeah.
Right? Whenever I hear a weird random fact.
She thought we didn't appreciate it, but I really did appreciate it.
Yeah,
okay.
I need to know how many times a horse's heart beats per second.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
well, I'm about to give you guys some stuff. Did you know that, let's start with this because it's funny. Did you know that Google's original name for, I think, the first year was back rub?
No.
No, I did not know that either.
I swear.
No way, back rub?
And then I Googled it. No. But and then it was really funny. It was like,
well, however did you find that out, Sarah? I Googled it.
So it was just funny. It was like, could you imagine being like, let me back rub that for you? Google that for you. I don't know.
Did you try back rubbing it? It doesn't work as well.
Oh, I got that on back rub. Like, anyway, okay. So that was one of them, right?
Oh man.
The next one. Let's see, Robert Chasebro. He is the inventor of Vaseline. He used to eat a spoonful of it every morning.
Nice. Sounds delicious.
Is he the same guy that they said, was it the inventor of Vaseline that like got gravely ill before he died? And they were like,
probably because
the doctors were like, we're gonna do the doctors were like, we're gonna do all of these like doctory things, and he's like, whatever, do whatever you want, but I'm just gonna rub Vaseline all over my whole body. And then he ended up making it.
No.
I heard this story, and it might not be about this guy, but it would like totally fit. And he's like, whatever, like, docs, do whatever you want to do, but I'm gonna like rub Vaseline on my body from head to toe.
I got that.
And then he survived, and it's like the doctors are like, our treatment worked, and he's like, the Vaseline worked too.
What
some Windex
was his reason behind it? Did he think it had nutritional value?
I didn't dive that deep. It was I kept
going. Can't
going.
leave us hanging. Well, next episode,
I don't know.
We want to know why.
I can go back to
Next
back rub
episode coming up, folks. Stay tuned.
Can you back rub that?
I'm gonna back rub that for you.
Why the Vaseline?
You know. Wait, I have more. Okay. So
eat a spoonful of Vaseline and rub some cornflakes on my feet.
Also live forever. Take that, Dr. Sebi.
Okay, McDonald's first item was actually hot dogs. So I found that out, and I was like, that's interesting. I want to know more. And so then I Googled more, and so there was these two brothers that were like,
I'm so sorry. You found the McDonald's hot dog thing more interesting, so you wanted to back rub more and get more information on that. But the Vaseline eating, it's like I kind of just stopped there. That was all I really needed.
I don't know why one interested me more than the other, but okay, this is really interesting though. I'll go back to the Vaseline thing. I'll try and find more. So there was these two guys. They were brothers. One was named Mac, and then I can't remember the other guy's name, but they were the two original owners of McDonald's, right? And they
The
had,
other guy's name was Donald.
was it? No, I don't think so. So they had opened a hot dog stand during like, you know, the Depression or whenever people like when they were really in a hard time for money, and they opened a hot dog stand, and they actually kind of like jumped off really quick. And what interested me was because they were saying that a hot dog, they didn't like the hot dog's mysterious meat, so they moved to the hamburger, which is kind of ironic considering what they're made of today.
Yeah, back then they were probably good, wholesome
Right.
burgers.
Back then,
made a burger.
they actually wanted like and were like locally sourced meat and made like fresh burgers, and they were like the first restaurant to have like the multi-serve like shake machines and like their speedy service. Anyway, it was interesting because then I found out that there was like a movie about it called The Founder, and it's about the guy
It's
that
on
bought it
Netflix,
out.
right?
I think so, yeah. So I want to watch it
Yeah.
because it's about the guy that bought them out. Ray, his name is Ray Kroc, and he is the one that franchised it all over the world. And there's like some controversy in the movie that they didn't get money out of it. But really, they originally had made a deal that they would get, I don't know, like 0.5% of any franchise that was open, any profits. But at the time when it first opened, it wasn't really as, obviously it wasn't as big as it was now. And these guys had one restaurant they just kind of wanted to keep as their like original vision. And so they just they actually wanted to just be bought out for $2.7 million to each of them have $1 million and then $700,000 to pay their taxes off, and then just be able to like live. And
they only had one at the time?
they kept their one. And they had opened a few by then, but when they sold it, they just kept the one.
What city was it in? Where did the first McDonald's get started, Sarah?
I didn't go that far. You guys are asking.
I need a whole report.
Anyways,
we need the full research project on these things.
Those were my icebreakers for the day.
I love it.
I liked it.
At the end of the day, I still need to know more about the Vaseline. But so as you guys can see, we have a special guest with us today. He's just kind of been hanging back there. But Jeremy, how about you introduce yourself and kind of talk to us a little bit about who you are? We're going to talk with Jeremy today on this episode and learn a little bit about his journey and get some insights from him.
Well, my name is Jeremy. I grew up with these two beautiful ladies and my sisters. We went to school in South Phoenix. We went to Nevitt, Gillen, and Tempe High. I've been an entrepreneur basically all my life, and got a floor cleaning business and a paddleboard and kayak rental business and sales. And I live in Mesa, Arizona now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I love it. And thank you for the compliment.
Yeah. Love you too.
It's funny. So folks, we're going to be talking, mainly about entrepreneurship today. And, on this podcast, we talk about everything about getting your money right. And entrepreneurship is one of, if not the strongest contributions to generational wealth that there is. If you build a business, if you run it well and it lasts a long time, that business can provide for you and your family and future generations to come. And, Jeremy, I think to start out, I think we want to kind of, move in kind of slow, talk to us a little bit about how your journey into entrepreneurship like started. How did it all start?
Well, it started from some bad decisions that I made to where I couldn't find a job. I mean, I've always kind of been an entrepreneur as a kid. I always, clean yards and tried to make money any way I could by, buying things and selling things, fixing up bikes, just certain things like that. But I had a job and couldn't get a job because of some court cases and stuff that I was going through. So I ended up, having to start my own business because I couldn't. It didn't make sense to get the jobs that I could find. They weren't paying enough. So that's basically where it started, and I just took it from there.
So it's interesting that you mentioned that, because there's something I think that I hear that I'm hoping, everyone else is hearing as well. So you were in a situation where the opportunities that were available to you due to your, your own doing, right? Your own decisions, whatever it might be. But the opportunities that were available to you were not, did not lend to you being able to live the life that you wanted, needed to live, and provide for yourself and your children the way that you knew that you deserved and they deserved. But so there's two ways that can go, right? You can wallow in it, be all, well, this is the only kind of jobs that are available, and then spend all your time on Facebook complaining about it. And I mean, this is a long time ago, guys, so Facebook was all we had. Spend all your time on Facebook complaining about it. But instead of taking that route, instead of lowering yourself to the circumstance, you rose to the occasion.
Definitely.
And that's something that I think, can be underappreciated or missed when, when you're telling your story, or when someone who's been, in a similar situation. So can you tell us, like, where did that come from? Where did that come from where you were able to make the decision of, hey, the left lane, that doesn't really get me where I want to go. And now I can go down that lane, but I'm not going to end up where I want to end up. This right lane, it's not easier, but I know what my worth is. And if I grind, I know what I can create. Like, where did that come from?
I mean, it comes from me having to take care of my kids, basically. It came from me wanting a better life for them that I had, or wanting more opportunities for them. I wanted to have a flexible schedule so that I could be at their games. And so, I had to have a job still. I had to get a job until I could afford to quit it in order to go full force with my business. But there came it wasn't easy. I had to make sacrifices and not spend my money and spend it right back into my business.
I think, let's talk about that too, because I feel like at the beginning of you starting off, you said, you did it because you couldn't really get a job and you needed to do it for your kids. And I think at that point you realized you wanted to work for yourself. And what was that like starting off, like at the very beginning? How did that impact your lives? I know it impacted mine. But talk about that, because I think that's important to know about, like, being able to be your own boss. It was how great it was, but how much you had to work at that and what that meant.
Well, it's scary at first, not for sure having that paycheck coming in, but I just thought to myself, well, if I work 2 days out of the week, it'll be the same if I worked 5, and then I could spend the other 3 trying to get more work until I'm consistently working 5 days a week. And then once I'm working consistently 5 days a week, then I could afford to hire somebody to work for me. That way I'll have enough to pay them. And then I am back on my grind 5 days a week, trying to find more work for them to where that I'm actually making a profit and being able to pay them, and maybe hiring another guy, and then putting food in their mouth and food on their table in order to make the company money as well. And just back in, it's scary at first, but the reward hard work pays off. And so.
Yeah, I remember even just from, I mean, you started off with the carpet cleaning business, and you've evolved so much more from that, but just being at the dinner table and you answering 2 different phones or calling us on a Saturday while you're at one job and being like,
Send me the
I
code.
need you to run to my house. I got some people picking up some kayaks right now. And like,
I'm doing Craigslist ads. I need you to send me that code. I had to start.
Oh yeah, the code.
Oh my goodness, that code was always interrupting my life. Like, I need that code, Sarah.
That's another thing that people don't see is they see, oh, well, you got your own business, you can do whatever you want to do. Well, it's like, yeah, well, I actually can't. Because I'm a harder boss on myself than any boss could be. And so because I want to make money. So, I'm on vacation answering phone calls. I'm on vacation waking up early before the kids wake up, trying to make some Craigslist ads and asking you guys for the codes.
Mm-hmm.
And but it's just it's a nonstop grind, but one day it will pay off. So it's been a fun journey.
Yeah, and that's, I think, a good segue, because I would like to know, like, I have a little bit of experience myself in entrepreneurship, moving forward.
I'm addicted. No, I'm kidding. Well, I love to see the growth. I love to, another thing that keeps me going is when I have employees and having to pay them and having to, take care of keeping me. But for me, it's just, I just love making connections and networking and seeing things happen and making things grow, making something out of nothing. And it's just a passion of mine to keep building. We started off with 2 kayaks in my backyard. Like Sarah said, I'd be cleaning carpet, cleaning tile, and renting these two kayaks out. And hey, Sarah, I need you to run to the house and rent these kayaks out to these people real quick. I'm doing a job. I can't. It started off with 2 until I could buy 4, and until I bought 10, until I bought 20.
A warehouse.
Until I had to get out of my backyard and go get a warehouse until I filled that thing up, and then I got to buy a shipping container to put on the side of that. And it just, I just like building and growing. And I like kayaks.
Yeah, I'm really glad you like kayaks too, because it's something that, like, I never would have thought about.
No. And it's
it never would have crossed my mind to, like, hey, let's go kayaking.
Right.
But like, you starting this business, I think, and this is something I didn't even have this on the outline, but this is something that is really important to me. And I'm not even as connected to it directly, but like, I wonder if you realize, like, what a different world you've opened up for, people from our neighborhood, who just maybe never would have thought of, like, going out and getting on a kayak in these lakes and rivers here, in Arizona. Like, not necessarily we're going on, a cruise and maybe it's the excursion that we do, but realizing, like, all this beauty that we have right in our own backyard.
Absolutely.
Like, have you ever thought of that, of like how you've kind of opened the minds of your friends and stuff?
I really never thought about it until the other day. Somebody did bring that up. I think it was Davey. He's like, don't you think that nobody would be not as many people would be kayaking in Phoenix and Mesa in general if it wasn't for you guys at Redline? And I was like, I thought about it. I'm like, maybe. I think it. I mean, he's like, no, you guys really did. You guys made it available. Like, there was no companies before that did this, and you guys did this, and now it seems like a lot of people are into it. Like, you guys have, like, some of it was COVID, but some of it was because you guys were there and you guys started posting pictures. But yeah, it is pretty amazing, because that is really what I wanted to do when I wanted to do something fun where I could show people other experiences, because I had to work so hard all the time that we did grow up going in the outdoors and going camping and stuff like that, but we had never kayaked or paddleboarded. And I fell out of that life. I fell back into the hustle of just working and grinding because I had kids and I had to go to school. And until I was like 24, 25 years old, 26 years old, I didn't leave Phoenix. I didn't leave anywhere except to go to work and back and take care of my kids. And when I got older and I started realizing I needed, to get out and do stuff, I wanted to start a business where I started a business where I could do that, because I had the cleaning business, and that's nice, but I wanted to do something fun that I had passion for. And then I think that's why this business went further than my cleaning business, because I'm more passionate about this. And that's why it's always good. And what I tell my kids, like, do something you're passionate about if you can.
Yeah. Before we get too far along, I want to make sure you share the name of your businesses before we
Well,
get too far. So
I own Redline Rentals and Sales. We are in Mesa, Arizona, as well as San Diego, California, and soon we're trying to start one in Mexico as well, in Rocky Point, Mexico. We're on Higley and McKellips in Mesa, Arizona. In our San Diego location, we are on Hancock and Kurt Street, right by the 8 freeway. We rent kayaks, paddle boards, party paddle boards that hold like 6 to 8 people, 2-seater kayaks, fishing kayaks. We specialize in selling fishing kayaks, even kinds that you pedal with your feet. We sell like little jet motors, electric bikes, solar panels for the outdoor motors. We just got those in, Bigsby solar panels that could be used on your kayak or your kayak motor, or they could just be used when you're camping for anything. And these things, like, I don't want to get off subject, but these things are badass. Like like if you're going at 1.5 miles an hour with the motor, it just keeps the motor going the whole time. And if you're camping, you got it in direct sunlight, like you could probably keep a fridge or a couple things like charged up. Pretty sick.
That's tight. That's tight. I love I can just see it, like just chilling in the kayak, kind of cruising along with the motor just like kind of pushing you. I've been looking off to the side. I'm not like not paying attention, but I was trying to find, I thought I saved a picture the other day that you had posted from back when you guys were still in the backyard, and I was just gonna pull that up. I can't seem to find it. But it's crazy because you started something, and I don't know if you knew like where it was going to go, and you're not even at the destination yet, right? You're still going, but you started, something that's hard. And you mentioned that, one of the ways that you keep going is that you just like seeing things come to fruition. You like taking nothing and turning it into something. So, with all of that hard work, I mean, what's it like doing whatever you want, whenever you want?
Well, that's what everybody likes to believe. I'm not there yet, but I mean, it is great to be able to switch my schedule around last minute and go to Mexico and have fun, or go see my kids' games. And my son wants to join a traveling team playing football, and I'm able to, work my schedule around that. But it's not whatever I want when I want. You got to plan, and definitely you guys probably know that I haven't seen you guys much lately because I'm always working and stuff like that. But it definitely, there's a lot of people that that don't have that can't see their every kid's games. They have to miss some games because they can't miss work. They can't take their kids to practice. And sometimes I'm unable to go to every game, but I try to see most of them, and I see other kids' parents or other friends of mine that they don't have that kind of a schedule, It is nice, but sometimes it's hectic at the same time. Sometimes it's not as glamorous as it seems to be.
Yeah, it is. It's that, everyone sees, they see you, they see the owner of these shops, they see, they see you in your board shorts and sandals and, going out and being on the water, but people see where you are, but they don't see the journey of, getting there. They don't see, not eating out for a long time. And it's like, no, I'm not eating out. That's not in my budget. I'm taking this is, going back into the business. Or they don't see, oh man, you sold all of this equipment. Like, I bet that was a big old profit. What are you going to do? Take some big vacations? Like, no, I'm going to use that to buy more inventory so that I can, kind of keep pushing forward. But one thing I can say is, like, a lot of financial literacy seeds I got from you as at a young age, back in our teens and stuff. And one of them was when you talked about going out to eat lunch. And it's funny because I always think about, like, we communicate as humans a lot. And you might say something that is like profound in someone else's relationship, and you might not even remember the conversation, a year later or 10 years later. But one thing that really stuck with me was you were talking about going out to eat lunch, and you were comparing it to, like, how much someone makes an hour. I'm not going to say who you were talking about, but you had mentioned, like, so this person makes $15 an hour and they're trying to go out for, a $30 lunch. It's like you literally just, like, lost 2 hours of your life to sit down and eat lunch. And it's not about not having fun ever, because that's not life, but it was just that the way that you thought about it, that connection of, if I'm trading my time for money, I have to be really smart with how I then use my money if I'm ever going to not trade time for money. Is it ever, like, really hard for you to not just spend, frivolously? Like, you could have, like, you could have like you could have like a cutlass if you wanted, or no, I'm just kidding. But like,
Well,
you could have, you probably, like, a lot of liabilities and be like, looking like, oh man, that guy looks like he has a lot of money because he's driving the brand new Escalade, or taking I like to call them, like, credit card vacations, like, where not using the credit card to get the points and paying off the vacation, but just putting stuff on your credit card all the time, and then having this massive credit card debt that you're trying to stay off from under. But instead of that, you're smart and you don't spend money frivolously, so that you're good at delayed gratification. Like, is it ever hard?
I mean, it definitely can be hard. You see all this money that you've made. I made $10,000 in 1 month, and then still collecting a $500 a week paycheck. And everybody else that has a job, they get their check, and they make $1,500 a week, and they get to spend it all. Like, I don't get a lot of money that I could just spend. Like, cool thing about having a business is sometimes you have cool things that you don't have to buy because the business owns them. I don't have to buy my own kayak because I have 100 of them. So that's the cool thing, is these what would be a liability is now an asset that I get to use and have fun with for free. It is hard though, and I have been the kind of person to do a credit card vacation. I remember after I bought a house, I was like, what do I need credit for? I don't need credit anymore. I maxed out my credit cards and I went on a vacation with my credit card. I was like, I don't really have any cares in the world anymore. I got a house, I've made it. This is it. I was 24. I made it. I bought a house, and I was just like, cool, I'm good. Like, who cares about credit? I'm gonna max out on my credit cards. And I did that, and then I started realizing that, oh, I could use my credit to buy assets, and then that I can't afford, that would take me longer to get if I would, because I was always like a buy everything cash type of person. I'm going to buy this cash. And if my business can't buy it, I'm not buying it. And now I've been realizing in the last year and a half from listening to you and other, you know, a couple of videos and doing my research is that you actually use your business credit a lot to your advantage. And if your ultimate goal is to be debt free, you could still obtain that by using your credit. And if you're good with money, you're good with money, and you're not gonna use the credit for liabilities. You're gonna use it for assets, and which are gonna then fund all your liabilities. So I never used those terms. I just always growing up, it was common sense for me. I didn't call it an asset or a liability. I just looked at it as, is this going to make me money or not? Yes or no. I don't like to buy things that don't make me money. But not everybody, it's not natural for everybody. It doesn't come second nature to everybody. And that's what Forward Motion is all about. Helping people that it isn't their second nature. It isn't like their instinct. You know, some people are good at certain things. Some people need to get trained better on certain things, and then they will be good. I'm not saying, oh, some people are good at things, some people are bad at things. No, some people are good at things naturally, and some people just need a little bit of more exercise with it, and that's what's so great about Forward Motion. But yeah, I you know, sometimes I do want to blow all the money and just get a Lamborghini or something, and maybe one day I will get a Lamborghini and rent it out. That'll be my business.
I'll get a Lamborghini, I'll put it on
Money.
Turo, and
Yeah,
because I won't be able to drive it every day anyways.
Hang on,
Right?
Amanda. Sorry.
Can you not hear me?
No, I can. Your editor's gonna have to edit this. I have to go and get my chapstick. My lips are dying, and it's in the other room. I'll be right
Okay.
back. So, okay, Jeremy, with all of that being said, do you feel it's important for you to teach your kids about entrepreneurship? Like why and how do you do it? How do you go about it? Because I know you instill that in your kids.
I definitely do think it's important. And it's hard because if you're not an entrepreneur, how do you teach your kids or fuel your kid's dream on how to be an entrepreneur? Or if your kid doesn't want to be an entrepreneur, how do you say, okay, that's cool, you know, if they want to go to law school or be in that, you know, how do you, you know, so some people want to be entrepreneurs, and some people they have other goals and dreams, as long as you're passionate about it. But I do think it's important to give the kids whatever tools they need to be successful in life. I teach them about entrepreneurship as much as possible. Have them help me with my business, so they definitely are going to know how to start their own. It's easy because I make them do all the work. Okay.
Start them young. No, I think that's important though, because like for instance, well, for one, school and the traditional route is not for everybody, and I think that's becoming way more apparent this day and age. And it's more common than not for people to be entrepreneurs and business starters, whether it's their full-time or just something on the side that's, you know, helping supplement their regular income and something they're passionate about. And even, you know, Junior is just excelling with the photo business, which you've been helping him a lot with. So I think that's a perfect example of just being able to instill that in your kids and start that off.
Yeah, I told Junior, I said, you know, I was thinking about selling my house and I'd come up off a good chunk of change, and I was like, I'll give you $10,000 to quit your job. You know, I give you $10,000 to quit your job, and I want you to, you know, by next year, I want this 10,000 to be 20,000. You know, I know you could do it.
Right.
And finally, Junior's like, I quit my job. Yeah, let's do this. You know, but and then now Junior's able to do the business and then pick up little side gigs, and Junior's realizing, I can make $150 in 1 hour. If I just do that 3 hours out of the week, I'll have the same amount of money that I would probably have all week working 40 hours.
Yep.
And everything else is icing on the cake.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, but I definitely always have tried to teach my kids from a young age, having them make ads for me, sending them codes, having them text my customers, thank you very much. If you ever need anything, having them send emails for me, keeping the kids involved. That way I'm working, but I'm with my kids still. So it's not like I'm at work and they're at home watching YouTube video doing who knows what. Like, yeah, we're working, but we're also bonding and learning.
teaching them skills too, like those are skills that even if they did go the traditional route, they're going to take with them, communication and technology stuff, posting ads and using different programs on the computer that I didn't learn how to use until, a few years ago in my job, and they're already using them and, to help you do your job. So I think there's a lot to be said about that.
Interacting with people who aren't their friends, like, interacting with the public at large, right? Even just, greeting new customers and things like that is something that is like massively important for young people, especially in this day and age where, kids are glued to a device, or, maybe don't even really like hanging out with people in person. It's just like, no, we're all gonna meet up on the PlayStation, and that's kind of, how we're hanging out. And it's like, okay, but
Metaverse.
What happens when you have to go out and,
I said in the metaverse.
In the metaverse. Yeah, we're just hanging in the verse. Yeah, but those are skills that are, I won't even say can be, that are lost on a lot of young people. And so that's, something that's super, super important.
And that's the fun part about starting a family business is the family's involved. Like, my sisters helped me do this. My mom helped me do this. My kids helped me do this. It's a team thing. And then, it's like, I love employing my children, because if I give my kids jobs and pay them money, and I would have had to pay an employee that, and instead now I'm paying my kid that, instead of letting them watch YouTube all Saturday and not make money, and then they ask me for money when I get home from work. Instead, I pay my kids, and then they don't have to ask me for money. So it's a win-win.
Yeah. Right. That's so true. And it teaches them the value of a dollar, right? I still remember the first time my mom was like, if you want, those designer shoes, then you're going to have to buy them yourself. And I had a job working at Haagen-Dazs, and I wanted these like $200 Nikes, and she had been buying me shoes for, forever. And so I went to the mall and I got these shoes and I had them, and I walk up and I'm standing in line with these shoes, and I just kept looking at them like $200. And it never seemed like a lot of money when mom was buying it. It's just like, I want these shoes. And I'm standing here and I was just like, my words were, I can't justify this. And I took the shoes, I put them back. I think I probably went to like Ross or something, grabbed a pair for like $25 and had, the other 175. So I was like, man, how much time did I spend to make this $200? I'm going to go walk on it. Like literally.
Back then it was $6 an hour, probably, that you're making at Haagen-Dazs. If you're lucky, it might have been $5.25.
I think.
Yeah.
$5.25.
I think $6.25.
So you're only able to work 20 hours a week. So that's like $120 or $110. So you had to work 4 weeks for those shoes. You start putting it in perspective. And that's something that you got to teach your kids young. And because if you don't teach your kids how to be good with their money when they're young, then they're not going to be good with their money when they're older. And if you're not good with your money when you don't have a lot of it, when you get more, then you're not going to just start being good with your money. People always are under the impression, like, when I get this raise, I'm going to have extra money. When I get this better job, I'm going to make twice as much. Then I'm going to start being good with my money. But today I don't got a lot of money, so I'm just going to waste it all. It's like, no, you're going to carry those bad habits, and then you're going to just spend more money. So if your excuse on budgeting or not coming to a Forward Motion financial literacy class is that, oh, I don't got enough money, then your mindset isn't right, and you need to reevaluate that thinking, because you need to get your finances down now. That way you can be ready for when you get a lot of money, and you can do right with it, make good choices.
Yeah, I wish I would
That's
have
so
been investing those $240 paychecks into some stocks back in the day,
Oh yeah,
I
could
would have
invest
known
in
about
Apple
that.
or
I mean,
Tesla,
yeah.
Bitcoin.
Goodness gracious, Amazon, Microsoft. Yeah, we
Haagen-Dazs,
just,
where we worked at.
I'm all 15-year-old me really missed the boat.
Yeah, like
Dummy.
yeah.
But we can't dwell on the past. You got to look forward. We
Right.
still got plenty of time to invest.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. You're never too old. And my cousin, I was just talking to her because she's moving to Kansas, and she's starting a really cool ass taco business called the Tasty Taco in Kansas. And
Cool.
she's 40 something, and she's getting into entrepreneurship just now. And so, hey, it's never too late.
That's awesome.
It's never too late. It's really not. And before we close out, I did want to ask, we talked a little bit about your business expansion. So you're in Arizona, out in Mesa, then you're also in San Diego, and there's a potential, or you're moving towards opening a location in Rocky Point. That's just awesome. Like, hats off to you, Jeremy, for everything that you've built and that you're building. Any advice for anyone, starting a business or who wants to start a business? Oh, I think we lost Jeremy.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, so my advice for anybody who is starting a business or thinking about starting a business is just really calculate your profits, be on top of your books. Don't think about how much you made today, think about how much you actually profited, and reinvest. You sometimes it takes you working in the night, not going out to eat with your friends or going to the bar for your friend's birthday because you have responsibilities, because you have to work your job at first and start your business on the side until you could afford to quit your job. So it's going to take some sacrifices. It's going to take not drinking on Saturday and actually doing paperwork on Saturday and waking up early on Sunday. And it's gonna take it's not all not all glamorous all the time and easy, but nothing that you see that is great was ever easy. Michael Jordan wasn't just great because he was great. He was great because he woke up early and played and practiced and trained and conditioned every day. And Bill Gates, owns one of the richest persons in the world because of the hard work that he did, but it pays off. Now Michael Jordan is probably somewhere on a beach that he owns, and Bill Gates is probably right there next to him, and they're tipping hats and saying cheers to each other. It will pay off in the end, but and reinvest. You made profit with one business, reinvest, buy more, think about the future, prepare for. I made it work with $10 an hour to take care of to pay the bills and to take care of my kids. So I always try to remember that, and I always try to live like that. Like, I lived off of $400 a week and had an apartment and had 2 kids and a vehicle, and I made it work. So when I make more, I try to spend as if I only make $400 a week. And that's how I was able to grow, because I didn't start saying, well, I make $1,000 a week now. I could go and get a bigger house in a bigger neighborhood. I could go and get a brand new car instead of this 10-year-old vehicle that runs perfectly fine, but I need a new vehicle. You know, I still lived in I still bought as many pair of shoes as I did when I was making $10 an hour. I didn't start just buying myself the best Jordans once a month because I had extra money. I bought an extra kayak, or I bought an extra tool for my carpet cleaning business. It's all about assets and liabilities. It's all about what's going to make you money or what's just going to depreciate and turn into valueless.
Yeah. That's the hard stuff, right? One of my favorite quotes, I don't know who said it, but it's, entrepreneurship is living a few years of your life like most people won't, so that you can live the rest of your life like most people can't. And it's those sacrifices that, you know, there's an organization here in Arizona that I've actually done some work with, Local First Arizona, and their executive director and founder, Kimber Lanning. I have just a lot of respect for her. She has built a local economy in Arizona that is far beyond many other states, and a lot of people don't know that Roosevelt Rowe, like, she was integral in turning that from a all but a squalor to where First Fridays are, and there's all these beautiful businesses that are popping up. And when she first started way back in the day, and I remember her telling this story when I had first met her, I think I went to go see her speak, and she was talking about one of her first businesses was the record store that was down there, and this is years and years ago, and people were like, it's never going to work, it's not a good area, this and that. And she continued to push and continue to push, and then she ended up having other businesses, and as she had those businesses, then she founded Local First Arizona to keep to start making the Arizona local community thrive. And I was talking to her, and I was like, you know what, people look at you and they see where you are. They see her 30 something years later or whatever, where she is. But when I look at her, I always see that story that she told of all of this grind, just years and years and years and years and years of grind. And that's what I want, hopefully, as people are watching this episode and listening to you speak, and as you continue to listen to Forward Motion podcast and Get Your Money Right podcast, and following us, it's not about always where you are. Like Jeremy just said, I try and live like I was just making $10 an hour because I made that work. So, that humble heart is what helps people to succeed. When you start getting ahead of yourself, that's when it gets real tough. So thank you very much, Jeremy, for joining us today.
Yeah.
For having me.
It was fun.
Follow us for more at Forward Motion AZ on Instagram and on Facebook. Moving forward, one family at a time on YouTube. We are a nonprofit organization. You can donate at forwardmotionaz.com/donate. And I am on TikTok now, so follow me. I'm Money Amanda on TikTok at amiller4800. Follow me on TikTok, and everybody have a great day. We'll catch you next time.
Also, guys, guess
Follow
what?
Redline on Facebook and Instagram. We have a bunch of paddles going on in San Diego and in Mesa. If you guys want to come through, it's pretty fun. They're free if you have your own stuff. If you need something, you can rent it from us. We have like a concert coming up on March 19th. Bunch of fun stuff. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram.
The concert going to be on the water?
Yep.
Yay.
Yep. Saguaro Lake.
When is that?
Concert at Saguaro Lake.
I just found out about it yesterday.
I'm going to be gone.
You're going to be gone in Thailand?
Yep. Also, though, guys, we just made it like an hour without arguing. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That is a record.
That's
a 1,000% a record.
Got something to argue about.
A couple times we had to get it straight. All right. Word. Love it. Get Your Money Right podcast, Forward Motion. Peace out, yo.
Thanks, guys.